Today on Sugar Spun Run, I'll be showing you how to make baked chocolate donuts. Hey Sugar Spun Bakers, Sam here, and today I have another carefully tested, well-researched, and perfected recipe to share. We are making super simple baked chocolate donuts. There's no yeast involved, really easy recipe, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, in a large mixing bowl, we're going to combine 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, with 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1/4 cup of firmly packed light brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. This ingredient helps make the donuts nice and soft and tender. I love using it in many of my baked goods. A teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We'll whisk these ingredients together until they're nicely combined. Use your whisk to break up any lumps that might be in there from the brown sugar. Now we can set this aside for now. And now I'm going to grab myself a large measuring cup, and into this I'm going to measure 1/4 cup of very, very hot water. You want it to be boiling hot or at least steaming. Now my faucet gives me steaming hot water, so that's what I'm going to be using today. Now once I have this hot water, I am going to immediately add 1/4 cup of natural cocoa powder. And I'm going to whisk these ingredients together until they're smooth, no lumps from the cocoa, everything should be nicely combined. Now it is important that you use hot water because what I'm doing here is I am blooming the cocoa powder. I have an older version of these chocolate donuts on my website where I just mixed the cocoa powder in with the dry ingredients. It worked nicely, but I wasn't getting that super intense, rich chocolate flavor I was really looking for. So when I went to update this recipe, I changed things around a little bit, and I found that by adding the cocoa to the hot water, we bloom it like I do with my chocolate cake, and we get a really nice chocolate flavor this way. All right, now I am using a pretty large measuring cup today, so I'm just going to be mixing all of my ingredients right in this. It's a little bit easier, saves me some dishes, but if you don't have a measuring cup this size, you will want to pour this into a separate mixing bowl. Now to this mixture, I am going to add 4 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. Use my spatula to make sure I get all of that in there. And I'll whisk this butter in with my cocoa powder and my water. And I'll whisk it together until it's nice and smooth. You shouldn't have any lumps in here. It should be nice and glossy. Now the next thing I'm going to add is 1 egg, but I do want to just check and make sure that this mixture is not super hot. Otherwise I could end up cooking my egg. I'm just going to use my hand to feel the bottom of the glass. This is almost back to room temperature. It doesn't feel super hot, so we're safe to add our egg. The cocoa powder does a nice job of cooling things down pretty quickly. So I have 1 large egg. Ideally, this should be at room temperature. And I'm going to just add this along with 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I'm going to just break up that egg yolk. And once I have that yolk broken up, I'll grab my buttermilk. We're going to be using 3/4 cup of buttermilk for today's recipe. If yours is at room temperature, that's better. But I have also made this with buttermilk straight out of the fridge. And I'm just going to drizzle this in while whisking. And we'll just whisk until everything is smooth and well combined. All right, now bring back your dry ingredients. Don't need this whisk anymore. And I'm going to pour everything right in with my flour mixture. Scrape all of that chocolate out. Don't want to leave any behind. Now we want to handle this batter a little bit gently because it's similar to a quick bread or a muffin batter where if you overdo it, you can end up with dense, dry donuts. So we'll just be gentle, scrape the sides and bottom of the bowl. And once everything is about 50% combined, we're going to add this optional last ingredient, which is 1/3 cup of mini chocolate chips, just like the extra punch of chocolate, but I'm kind of a chocoholic, so you can not use this ingredient if you'd like. So once I'm about 50% combined, I will add my chocolate chips, and I add them now instead of waiting till the end because again, I do not want to overmix my batter. Also, you'll probably notice this is a pretty dry and somewhat stiff batter. It should be, that's totally normal. Now I'm going to stir this just until I don't see any flour remaining. All right, now we need to prepare our donut pans. Today's recipe makes 12 donuts. I have 2 6-count donut pans, and you can either lightly grease and flour these, or you can use a little bit of baking spray. I'm going to be using baking spray today, it's just a little bit easier. So the baking spray can be a lot, so then I like to take a paper towel and just gently grease the pan. I want to make sure I have an even, light coating. And I also want to make sure I get that center piece right there because the donuts love to stick there. And you don't want to go through all of this work just to have your donuts not come out of the pan. Now, if you'd like, you can just spread the batter into the donut pans. However, it is a stiff batter, so it doesn't go in super evenly. So my preference is to pipe the batter. You can use a large Ziploc bag with the corner snipped off. I use these disposable pastry bags that I have. Use whatever works best for you. I'm just going to pour the batter into the bag. And I'm just going to snip off the end. My scissors a little dull. And I'll evenly divide the batter into the donut pan. I'm just going to add some to my existing donuts. Pressing the tip of the bag into the existing donut batter helps this go in smoothly. All right, now we'll take these over to our 350-degree Fahrenheit oven, where they're going to need to bake for about 10 to 12 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the thickest part of the donut comes out clean or with a few moist crumbs. I like to let the donuts cool in the pan for a couple of minutes, and then I'll carefully turn them out onto a cooling rack to cool completely. Of course, the other side should be nice and smooth. Now, chocolate donuts need a chocolate glaze, so let's go ahead and prepare that. This is super simple. So we'll combine 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips and 2.5 teaspoons of coconut oil. And I'm going to microwave this in 25-second intervals, stirring in between until the chocolate is completely smooth and melted. So once the chocolate is smooth and melted, we can go ahead and dip the surfaces of our donuts. Just grip them by what used to be the top and is now the bottom because you want that smooth surface showing upward. Dip just the surface in, flip them over and let any excess drip off. And if you'd like to add any sprinkles, you'll want to add them now while the chocolate is still wet. Now ideally you would let this chocolate harden before enjoying. It does set up pretty nicely pretty quickly, but I just did mine so they're still pretty wet. However, that is not going to stop me from enjoying them in about 5 seconds. So that's how easy it is to make these baked chocolate donuts. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's recipe, and if you try this one, please leave me a comment and let me know what you think. I always love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is gonna be a little bit messy. It's just gonna be worth it. They're so good.